Welcome, welcome one and all to The Late Show. I'm your host, Stephen Colbert. Hey, quick question, a little poll in the room. Anybody remember 2 days ago when I came out here and told you that Ketanji Brown Jackson had made it out of the Judiciary Committee and was definitely going to be America's first black female Supreme Court justice, and we all went, woo! That was fun. Want to do that again? Well, this afternoon, the U.S. Senate voted to confirm Ketanji Brown Jackson to the Supreme Court, making her America's first black female justice. Oh, woo! That's nice. That's nice.
I know.
That feels good.
Very nice. Woo.
That is nice.
Come on, man.
That is, she is a justice so nice we wooed her twice. Here's the moment history was made.
On this vote, the yeas are 53, the nays are 47, and this nomination is confirmed.
Ladies and gentlemen, the newest member of the United States Supreme Court, Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson, is what I will be saying in a few months when she's actually sworn in. It's a long process. We'll woo again. President Biden seemed to understand the history of the moment. Shortly afterward, the White House released this photo of the president and the next justice of the Supreme Court sharing a hug. It's a very touching moment. You know, it was really beautiful. You know, taking that moment to recognize it. It was reminiscent of when Brett Kavanaugh was confirmed and the former president helped him do a keg stand. Not easy at his age. Not easy at all. It's worth, impressive. That wasn't the only positive news from Capitol Hill, because today we learned that Speaker Nancy Pelosi has tested positive for COVID-19. Get well soon, Madam Speaker. Please stay home, drink lots of fluids, and let Chuck Schumer go straight to voicemail. Nancy, it's Chuck again. I wanted to make sure you got the cheesecakes I sent over, because nothing deals with phlegm like a thick New York Junior's cheesecake. Okay, how do I turn off the call? You know what? I'm just gonna bring you with me into the bathroom. Too much cheesecake. Now, everybody's wondering if Pelosi might have transmitted to other people after she was infected, including those other people might be the president. But the White House said that Biden tested negative last night and was not considered a close contact of Pelosi. Really, not a close contact. Because yesterday, when she was there for a bill signing, she was right next to the president. And on Tuesday, Pelosi and the president gave each other a couple of kisses on the cheek. Evidently, the White House is not considered a close contact unless there's tongue. FDR started that, yeah. Pelosi is just the latest case among Washington's elite. At least 14 to 10 days of Saturday's Gridiron Club dinner have tested positive for COVID, including the communications director to Vice President Kamala Harris, Representative Adam Schiff, Representative Joaquin Castro, Commerce Secretary Gina Raimondo, and Attorney General Merrick Garland. Okay, that proves Mitch McConnell is worse than a disease, because at least COVID was willing to meet with Merrick Garland. Big news. Sure, why not? Big news from the United Nations. This afternoon, the UN General Assembly voted to suspend Russia's membership in the UN Human Rights Council. Okay. Okay.
Suspension. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds right. You know what sounds wrong? Russia was on the Human Rights Council. And if you think that's a little too late, you're not alone. So does Pope Francis, seen here freestyling under the name Funkmaster Faith. This week, Il Papa had some harsh words for the UN, saying, "In the ongoing war in Ukraine, we witness the impotence of the International Organization of the United Nations." It's never a good sign when the celibate guy calls you impotent. This is weird. This is weird. Or when the Catholic Church says, "You guys are moving too slowly." This is a bit of a weird news. Yesterday, the FBI arrested 2 men accused of impersonating federal officers who claimed they were, quote, special police. Oh, you gotta watch out for those special police. I learned all about them in this disturbing true crime documentary.
You don't have anything sharp on you that I can stick myself with, do you?
No.
Good. Because I do.
Those women are terrified. Now, nobody knows what these fake feds were planning, but they were clearly up to no good. They allegedly used the disguise to get closer to members of federal law enforcement, including a U.S. Secret Service agent. Okay, that's scary. That's why I've always said we need an agency to protect the Secret Service. The Secret Service. There were aviators over their aviators, and they talk into both wrists. To cozy up to law enforcement, these no-good-nicks provided members of the Secret Service with gifts such as iPhones, surveillance systems, a drone, and a flat-screen television. And the Secret Service just took them? Aren't these guys supposed to be on guard 24/7? I will jump in front of a bullet to protect this nation. What's that, a flat-screen Samsung? Get in here! You want to see the Oval Office? Here's the key. Take a look around while I watch TBS. Ooh. In the Line of Fire is on. Malkovich can do it all. So, how did... No, please. Please. Malkovich fans. So, how did these guys fool everyone? Well, the duo of masterminds used an SUV equipped with emergency lights they identified as their official DHS vehicle and wore tactical gear with police emblazoned on their clothing. Clearly a highly sophisticated operation. They had access to iron-on technology, plus the credentials proving that they were female body inspectors. Now, these two aren't the only knuckleheads in trouble with the law. I'll catch you up on a few more in tonight's Seditionist Roundup.
I will see you in court, you bastards.
First up in today's Roundup is Capitol rioter and guy trying to sell you a bag of oregano at the drum circle. Samuel Fisher. When Fisher was arrested 2 weeks after the Capitol attacks, the FBI found over 1,000 rounds of ammunition, an illegally modified AR-15 rifle, and machetes in his Upper East Side apartment and car. That is insane. He has a car in New York City. Though I suppose... I guess it is easier to find parking when you keep a machete on the dash. Next up on the Roundup, insurrectionist and thoughtful dinner party guest, Jason Riddle. This week, Riddle was sentenced to 90 days in jail after breaking into the office of the Senate parliamentarian, chugging that bottle of wine and also stealing a book. Well, if he wanted wine and books, he could have avoided the jail and just showed up to your Aunt Rita's house Tuesdays at 7 p.m. This week, they're doing Where the Crawdads Sing. Now, this isn't the first time I've mentioned Mr. Riddle on the show. I also talked about his wine-swilling, book-swiping last year, and he remembers that I did because at his sentencing, Riddle called out members of the media, including late-night host Stephen Colbert, who he claimed called me an enemy of the state to a booing crowd. Okay, that is not true. That's not true. I did not call him an enemy of the state. That was the segue into the Roundup. I actually called him this. First up in the Roundup, New Hampshire native and guy teaching a cryptocurrency class from his mom's basement. Jason Riddle, I'm sorry, so let me correct that. New Hampshire native and guy teaching cryptocurrency class from jail. We got a great show for you tonight. Comedian Pete Holmes is here, but when we come back, are aliens impregnating us? And who pays when they need braces? Stick around.